Welcome to SDG Zone at Tokyo. This is session 5, and our topic is designing inclusive society through the evolution of sports. Within this session, we would like to explore the possibility of each one of us to design everybody happy and inclusive society by learning how technology, new perspective, and vision-driven initiative could enhance the power of sports. My name is Miyuki Hokugo. I'm the senior staff writer of the Asahi Shimbun Japanese Daily. Fortunately, we have wonderful guests here. So let me first introduce Mr. Ken Endo. He is a CEO of technology company Xiborg, and he is leading the very exciting project named Blade for All. So Endo-san, could you please share your journey?
Hi, thank you for your introduction. I'm Ken Endo, and I am an engineer who are working on developing the running-specific prosthesis, so-called Blade for top para-athlete. And I believe that maybe in the future, the Blade runner will overrun the Olympic champion. So that's one of my dreams. And at the same time, we realize that the blade is so expensive and many empty cannot purchase the blade, or empty cannot even have an opportunity to enjoy running on the blade. So that's why we started the project in the Blade for All, where we try to make the opportunity for all empty to enjoy running on the blade. So there are a bunch of the problems on the journey. So for example, as I told you, the blade is very expensive. And so far, we have developed the affordable blade such that the empty can purchase the blade easily. And another problem will include the number of the prosthetics with the scale is limited, as the blade runner is also limited. And there's no place to learn how to run on the blade because there's limited resources. So the Blade for All is all about the ground design to solve the all blade problem at the same time.
Very interesting. You always emphasize that the running is the easiest sport for all.
Yeah. I would say the running is one of the easiest sports for everyone, but the amputation of the leg prevents them from enjoying running on the ground. So when we run, so we feel the wind coming in front of us makes us so comfortable, and that is not situation for the amputee, so which is very, very sad. So one of our project's goal is to fill the gap between the amputation and the normal leg.
Very powerful story. Thank you. Well, our next guest is Mr. Tomohiro Sawada. He is the representative of the Yuru Sports Association and copywriter. What is Yuru Sports? You may be surprised. So Sawada-san, please introduce your exciting project, please.
Okay, so I'm Tomo Sawada. Nice to meet you. And first of all, I would like to explain what is Yuru Sports. And actually, Yuru is a very unique Japanese word. And it's my favorite Japanese word, and it cannot be translated into one single word, English word. But it's like, if I say, it's like it means inclusive and playful and creative and fun and also crazy. So Yuru Sports means sports that is open up to everyone. And in last 6 years, 5 or 6 years, we have been inventing more than 100 sports, Yuru Sports. For example, I made a sport with my friend who is PWD, and actually he's a wheelchair user. And one day I went to his house and I saw him crawling in his house, and the speed was astonishing. So I came up with an idea and sports called caterpillar rugby. Yes, a very strange sport, yes. And in the sports, everybody has to wear this special caterpillar wear so that you cannot stand, you cannot walk nor run. So you have to lie down. And if you want to move, you have to crawl or roll over to get the try. And the fun part of this sport is that my friend who is wheelchair beat me. So that means there's a inversion is occurring. So the minority becomes majority and majority becomes minority in youth sports. That's the fun part. And let me explain one more sport, which is Tonton Boys Sumo. Sumo is a Japanese traditional sport, as you know. I hope you know it, but it's a very hard sport to play because you have to eat a lot and you have to be strong. But in case of Tonton Boys Sumo, it's a very easy sport because we made a very small sumo field. Players just have to sit and just shout ton ton ton, which means go in Japan. And if you shout ton 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 ton, the small field shakes and the small wrestlers fight together. So it's very simple to play. And the reason why we made this sport is because Japan is an aging society and many elderly people in Japan are not playing sports, which means they are excluded from the sport. They are not included in sports. So that's why we made Tonton Boys Small, so that elderly people can be sports player as well. So that's youth sports.
Amazing. But how come you come up with this unique project in the first place, Sawada-san?
Good question. Actually, my son is visually impaired, and myself is so bad at sports. So what happens if we go to park? There's no sports that we can play or enjoy. But one day I found the data showing that almost 40% of Japanese people are not playing sports daily. I mean, not playing sports in their daily lives, just like me and my son. But is it our problem? No, it's sports problem. So that's why I came up with an idea of youth sports, which is changing not the people, but the sports. And actually, I was a sports phobia. I was afraid of sports. So, making youth sports, laughter is very necessary to attract people who are feeling fear to the sports. So that's why I came up with the idea of youth sports.
Thank you. Well, there exists sports program. So maybe I should try one of the Yuru sports, definitely. And perhaps I can find some game that I'm very good at, right?
Yes, you can be a champion, yeah.
Thank you so much. So now let us connect with Vermont, USA to meet Ms. Rosie Meyer. She is the official spokesperson for the Special Olympics, which is the UNICEF USA partnerships with young people with disabilities. Lucy is the 5-time gold medal swimmer. And the mission of Special Olympics is to provide year-round sports training and athletic competition in a variety of Olympic-type sports for people with intellectual disabilities, giving them continuing opportunities to develop physical fitness, demonstrate courage, and participate in a shaping of gift with community. So Lucy, hello.
Hello.
Hi. So can you please tell us a little bit about yourself and your role with UNICEF and Special Olympics?
My name is Rosie Meyer, and I am the official spokesperson for the partnership between UNICEF and Special Olympics for young people with disabilities. And I also have cerebral palsy because I was deprived of oxygen for 5 minutes at birth. The doctors told my parents that I might never sit up or fall, but we are so happy to report that the doctors were very wrong.
And what about your role with UNICEF Special Olympics?
And I am a Special Olympics 5-time gold medal winner in swimming. And I do a lot with Unified Sports, which is a program for Special Olympics where they have kids with and without disabilities able to play on the same team as one another. My basketball team at my school ended up winning the biggest trophy, and now the trophy is in the same trophy case as all the other team trophies at my school. So it's very important to me that everybody accept and include everyone, but especially people with disabilities, because we are no different. We are the same, and we love to compete and have friends and win, just like people without disabilities.
Well, thank you for sharing your fantastic work. Thank you. Now let us talk about Sustainable Development Goals. If we were to accomplish SDGs, we can live in a fair and inclusive society. So how are we going to realize SDGs? How do you want to realize SDGs through your work? Endo-san, over to you.
I love sports, and sports is for everyone. But the disabled person has limited access to the sports, and moreover, in the developing country, the people are very, very severe situation. And I think one of our goals is to make the sports available for every single person. And for example, I mean, as an engineer, I went to Laos 2 years ago, and I tried to collaborate with the local prosthetist to make running specific prosthesis using our blade and the material available locally. And then, so in the Laos history, I saw the first blade runner there. So that was a very, very small step. But I think that should be the very huge, giant leap for the society. And again, the sports is for everyone. The current Paralympic and Olympic game is a very, very only for limited person. So I guess one of our goal and what to do is to make the sports for every single person.
Wow, how wonderful to know technology can help leaving no one behind. How about you, Sawada-san?
Okay, my opinion is kind of similar to Endo-san, but okay. I want to talk about the reducing inequality of SDGs, because sports itself is unequal, as Endo-san has said. And I think sports is universe, and uni means one. So universe means there's only one single strong standard in there, and it's fixed. For example, only 3 types of people can play well or can win in sports. And it's those who are strong or fast or high. Talking about me, I'm slow, I'm weak, I'm small. So that's why I was excluded from sports, you know? So that's the reason why I'm making new sports called Yuru Sports. And it's a challenge to transform universe sports into multiverse sports. Multiverse means there are multi-standards are inside. For example, we made a sport called baby basketball, and we put a sensor into the ball so that if you treat the ball harshly, the ball cries like a baby. And if the ball cries, the ball goes to the other team. So you have to pass it very softly. So people who is fast or strong or high isn't good at the sports. People who is nice or kind of gentle gonna be a star, you know? It's totally a new standard for sports. So you like it? You like it? So I think sports is very unequal at this point. But at the same time, sports has a big power to change the society because it's fun, because it's physical, because it's emotional. So if we use sports in the right way, I mean, not the universe way, but the multiverse way, I believe that sports can change the world into a more equal place. And I believe that sports can contribute to SDGs more.
Excellent, excellent. Well, anybody can be excluded and included, and Yuru sports can be a very good eye-opener for that. Thank you. So Lucy, why is inclusion important, and how can people be more inclusive?
Well, I think inclusion is one of the most important things in life for people with and without disabilities. And one of the best ways to make inclusion the best, in my opinion, is through a program with Special Olympics called Unified Sports, which is where kids with and without disabilities are able to play on the same team as one another. I did Special Olympics out of school and in school, and both ways I think are just fantastic ways for kids to be able to learn how to play together. And I think if you start at a young age, it's even better because it teaches them at a very young age how to play together and how to make friends. And the more comfortable they get and the more happy they are, the better it is for them and for everyone around them, and especially in other countries where kids with disabilities aren't treated as well as they should. I work extra hard to make sure that those kids get as many opportunities and experiences to do the same thing of unified sports that I am able to do in the US with my friends.
I'm afraid time is almost up, so let me invite all the guests to make a final remarks, but 1 minute each, sorry. So, Endo-san, could you go ahead, please?
Okay, for me, due to the COVID-19 virus, we are very still in the severe situation. And surprisingly, last year, Paralympics were postponed, and which was not what we expected before. But for me, it was very tough, still tough, but it was also a great opportunity for me to rethink about the sport. What is sports for us? And I think the sports is not only for competition, but for everyone, and it makes us happy. So I really want to make people happy with the technology and sports. That's what I thought through the conversation.
My vision is to change every single person into players. And player means people who is playing or enjoying something. And also player means people who have a role. And if you're enjoying this moment, and if you have a role, that's very well-being, you know? So that's why I want to make everybody player. But in order to do so, we have to change society, not the people. But changing society, you know, takes time, sometimes spends money, costs money. So what I'm doing is to try to change small society. And that is sports, because sports is very similar to society. There are many people in there, there are many relationships are born, and each sport has their own rules. And so sports is like almost like society. So by making a small society called sports, actually inclusive sports, I want to make everybody players. And actually one day, my friend who's visually impaired, after playing Yuru sports said, I feel like I'm part of the world. It means he felt like he was accepted by this world. So that's the effect of the sports. So I want to keep on trying to make new sports more and more and keep on trying so that I will leave no one behind. Thank you.
Well, thank you so much. So Lucy, what do you hope to achieve through your work?
What I hope to achieve for my work is that I hope that I can make it possible that all people, whether they have a disability or not, can participate in everything and anything that they want to do. They should be able to do whatever they want and everything that they want, whether they have a disability or not. It shouldn't matter if they have more difficulty doing something versus something else. They should just have the opportunity to be able to try their best to do what they want to do.
Indeed, indeed. Well, it's been a tremendous learning experience. Thank you so much. Thank you, Endo-san, for your vision. Thank you, Sawada-san, for your inspiration. And thank you, Lucy, for including us.
You're welcome.
I believe I'm not the only one who's been empowered by learning new perspectives to make step forward. So my last thank you goes to all of you. Thank you for watching. And goodbye from Tokyo.